Olá, bom dia. Carl Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal live stream, YouTube and podcast. And also I'm including coffee.com, where I am experimenting with a way to fund the Good Morning Portugal live stream. And I will put a link in through that. If you want to buy me a cup of coffee, in a show of appreciation for the service here, you can do that now with the link that I'm going to put on screen in just a moment, which I've been busy setting up, as well as doing all the websites for Good Morning Portugal for our Come to Korea website as well, which is our restoration project here in Korea where we live as a family, and our project here. I've been working on all those things, and the business model, I laughingly call it that, the business model for Good Morning Portugal is based on buying me a cup of coffee if you think it's useful. So I'll put that link in there in just a moment. Let's start with a bit of lingo. What we're going to do today, it is Fungi Friday. It's not quite the program I had in mind in terms of Fungi Friday, but I'm going to give you a great introduction to the work of Shimajito, and we'll have them on live, I think, in the coming weeks. A bit of lingo, a bit of weekend weather watching, and obviously the big news at the moment is the lockdown lifting. And we're going to dive deep into that and look at how that might work, because one vision of it is that you'll be going out for dinner. Picture this. It's one of the great parts of Portuguese culture, isn't it, is going out to eat in Portugal. It's fantastic. The vision of the future for that at the moment looks like arriving at a restaurant, going into a process of disinfection. You're greeted by somebody in a mask. You might be wearing a mask yourself. All the tables will be set out really distantly. You'll be wondering how good the hygiene is constantly and whether people are washing their hands, which doesn't, to me, conjure up the setting or the backdrop for the most relaxing of evenings out. But that's where we are at the moment, it would appear. And we're going to look at the staging of the lockdown thanks to Lisbob in just a moment. But before we do that, we're going to do a bit of lingo stuff. I want to put that coffee link up in there. If you want to buy me a cup of coffee, that's very Portuguese, of course, isn't it? You need this link to do that. Here we go. I'm just about to copy and paste it now and stick it on the screen for you. This is I'm very grateful to everybody actually for anyway entertaining and patronizing me in the best possible way on these weekday mornings. But if you feel it's useful to you, click on that link there or go there to ko-fi.com/Carl Munson. You can buy me a cup of coffee if you want, which is how we are funding this service. You like, it's all part of the growing livelihood. Something else occurred to me this morning, actually, the distinction I want to make going forward, if you like. Sorry to use that kind of corporate lingo, but for the Good Morning Portugal, our positioning in things as we move forward, as we now we flatten the curve, and now we're lifting the lockdown. Everyone's talking about returning to normal. What we're going to do here as happy homesteaders is, whilst everybody's trying to go back to some idea of normal, we're going to be going back to nature. Okay, so while some go back to normal, we're going to be going back to nature. That's the best strapline I've come up with this morning. And I think about these things a lot. So your lingo test, a little bit of a break from Practice Portuguese this morning. Now, I thoroughly recommend that. But look, this occurred to me. You might like to play a little game with me this morning. Mais para si. What does that mean? I'm going to give you multiple choice. Does it mean A, more for less? Mais para si. Everyone's got one of these in their wallet or purse or pocket or bottom of their bags for life, haven't they? Does it mean A, more for less? Does it mean B, more for you? Or does it mean C, stay away from the central aisle? Okay, so mais para si. Does it mean A, more for less? Does it mean B, more for you? Or does it mean C, stay away from the middle aisle, especially you fellas buying all those Park Life tools in the middle there? Okay, so let's go to a very quick look at the weather. This is what crashed the show yesterday, but I want to have a look to see if the weekend weather is going to get any better. I think, every time it rains, people say we need it. We need the rain. It's just all too much. It's just all too much trying to bring you the weather. I'm going to try it one more time. But this happened yesterday, didn't it? It crashed the show trying to bring you the weather. It's our mighty website at goodmorningportugal.com. I'm going to try it one more time, pushing the button now. Yes. Okay, we're in. We're into the weather. Like that's good. And it does take a while to load because these are all the respective weather forecasts for the districts of Portugal. Okay, and all you can see now is wheels spinning. Hopefully, there'll be a bit of smoke on the tarmac as we actually are able to bring some weather to you. What I'll do is we'll stop that for now. We'll risk trying again later. But what we will do is, yeah, thank you, Louisa. The morning weather report from here is drizzly. So give me your weather report for where you are right now, and I'll give you the weather report for how the weekend's looking, okay? Good morning to you, Druba, as well in Sintra, who says to me, good morning, brother. Good morning to you, brother Druba, as well. Ina Abranch says, good morning, Carl. And everyone, quiz answer. So far, more for you. Thank you, Ina. Good morning from sunny Fandao. It is sunny over there. That's where Shimajito are, and we'll be looking at them towards the end of the show. But we'll come back to the weather because that seems to be a contentious thing, certainly technologically. And we will look at Lisbob's coverage of moving from curve flattening to lifting the lockdown. Okay, so dates, phases, and calendar of the deconfinement plan in Portugal. Here we go. Lisbob.net. Are you sure you want to go there? McAfee is asking me. I'm going to press the accept the risk button and go through to the dates, phases, and calendar of the deconfinement plan in Portugal, which makes it sound terrifying, doesn't it? The calendar of deconfinement as we re-enter the world we once knew outside there. Good website, this. Loads of information about moving to Portugal, about what goes on, life in Portugal. I think they do these for France and they do them for Spain as well. But look here, this is what we're interested in. Portuguese government is prepared to reopen the economy and end the lockdown with the peak of the coronavirus pandemic now behind. That's a bold statement, isn't it? The program will consist of 3 distinct phases, which can, of course, evolve according to certain public health criteria. After several weeks of state of emergency, which has forced the closure of most economic activities, Portugal will begin to reopen sector by sector. That's how it's going to work, folks. The return to normal plan is gradual and includes specific dates. So these are the key dates as we re-enter life as we knew it, or close to. May the 4th, my wedding anniversary. So May the 4th be with us for the first part of deconfinement. May the 18th, maybe I can take Mrs. M out for one of those romantic dinners with a mask on and lots of disinfectant on May the 4th. Who knows? May the 18th and June the 1st, Lisbob, the expatriate assistant, gives you the dates and the official calendar for the deconfinement plan in Portugal. Thank you, Lisbob. So let's have a look. Antonio Costa there. Nice picture of him in the halls, the corridors of power. And phase 1, May the 4th. May the 4th will be the first date on the country's reopening calendar. There'll be no longer a state of emergency, but Portugal should move to that of calamity. Terrifying. Allowing traffic restrictions to be maintained for people. The duty of containment will still be in place. So it sounds like free movement, no, on the roads, and duty of containment will still be in place. And it's all the devil's in the detail, isn't it? In this first phase of deconfinement, it'll be possible to reopen certain stores which were forced to close with the state of emergency, promulgated for the first time on March the 19th for the president of the Portuguese Republic, all the way back in March the 19th. Thus, the following businesses will be able to open their doors with the obligation for customers to wear a mask and to respect social distancing. Small businesses, namely stores up to 200 square meters. I can go back to my barber, look at me if I want to. Hairdressers and beauticians, as well as hair salons, bookstores, car dealers, individual sports activities that are authorized, and Portuguese universities can reopen if they wish, but this will not be compulsory. Lisbon, Porto, Coimbra will continue to organize distance learning courses. It's an interesting mix, isn't it? You know, we can start reading again and having our cars serviced and I'll get our nails done. It's a strange old mix, but I'm sure that's to do with size and scale of operation, isn't it? And just to test the ground out. Phase 2, May the 18th. And do let me know what you're thinking about this, how it occurs to you. We'll check on the comments in just a moment. Portuguese government has said it will monitor the effects on public health every 2 weeks. Thus, and if the contagions of COVID-19 do not register a second wave, 2 weeks later, on May the 18th, other businesses, including restaurants, can be open. Oh, I see. So we'll have to wait to go out for a gloved and masked romantic dinner, while, of course, respecting the rules of social distancing. Yes, a long way from many other diners. This will be phase 2 of Portuguese deconfinement. Here are the shops and places that will open for the second phase. Shops of up to 400 square meters. If there are any quantity surveyors watching, tell us what a shop of 400 square meters looks and feels like, please. It doesn't mean a lot to me in my mind's eye. Some exceptions will be granted. Cafes, pastelerias and restaurants with a capacity reduced by 50%. Certain, yes, of course, because it's culturally right that we're all packed in and having a cozy time, but that's going to be really weird when we go into these pastelerias and it's all been reduced by 50% in terms of capacity. Certain cultural spaces and shows, as well as museums with a capacity limitation, face-to-face lessons for students in grades 11 and 12 and nurseries. The Portuguese government will continue to support parents who decide to stay at home with their children. Awesome. This aid will continue until the end of May. So there they are. These are the plans. There's a really nice graphic that shows. I'll try and get that on the Good Morning Portugal page on Facebook, which makes it nice and easy. Phase 3, June the 1st. Finally, as the pandemic evolves in a controlled manner, fingers crossed, more commercial spaces will be able to reopen, namely supermarkets. Thus, in the third and last phase of this reopening on June the 1st, the doors should open to commercial spaces of more than 400 square meters, including shopping centres. So we'll all be able to go back to the forums and buy stuff we don't need, which we've got used to not doing. Schools at the pre-escolar level, polytechnic institutes, but with restrictions such as the division of classes and staggered schedules. Football championships may resume, but without spectators in the stadiums. That's going to be so weird. And access to beaches with restrictions. And I believe the army are going to be backing up coast guards. So for those people who like hunky coast guards and men in uniform, that's going to be quite exciting for you. In addition to these 3 phases, many sectors still do not know when they can resume their activity. The Portuguese government has not yet decided and may decide to include them in one of 3 projects or even to postpone them to later. This is the case, for example, of music festivals and major mass events currently prohibited until the beginning of September. And that just completely obliterates the summer festa season, doesn't it, that we're so used to and so enjoy here. Gymnasiums, gyms, bars, clubs, and other night establishments, religious celebrations. I guess they know, don't they, that when people are involved in, music festivals, late night drinking in clubs, and even religious festivals and celebrations, we kind of forget ourselves, don't we? And they are very closely packed events with the obvious possibility of cross-infection. So there you go. That is the deconfinement plan in Portugal, as announced yesterday, I believe, certainly in the last couple of days, worked on in the last week or so. And these are the phases: May the 4th, May the 18th, and June the 1st. And these are what's going to happen. The key size of shop, I guess, is 400 square meters, isn't it? We'll be opening with 200 square meters, going up to 400 square meters, and then finally shops over 400 square meters on June the 1st. And of course, they will be monitoring the situation to see if that's working at all. And then we may have to step back to lockdown or restriction or whatever. We shall see. So many lovely weather reports here. Chantel, thank you. It's a rainy Friday in Maya with grumpy face emoticon. Druba says it's a bit cloudy in Sintra. It's cloudy in Panela, according to Eloise. Good morning to you. Hola, bon dia. From Oit, who says there are showers in the center of Portugal. Gary says weather looking a bit moody in Alfazar. It does there. Whilst the rain in Spain stays mainly on the plain, the rain in Alfazar makes moody-looking patterns in the sky. Overcast in Peniche, according to Ina. Thank you for that, Ina. Peniche is overcast, lovely part of the world. Barbara Prince, good morning from Coimbra. Not Coimbra, but Coimbra. Good morning to you, Barbara. Lovely to hear from you. Lovely description, Gary. Like a jilted lover. Okay, our weather, like a person, is grumpy and depressed. Yes, please describe your weather as a person. Not too late for you to do that. Glorious. It's George Clooney weather, or film star of your choice in Lole. From Claire and Steve. Good morning to you both there. The weather, the language quiz. Here we go. One more time for those of you who've turned up late. Where have you been? Mais para si. Does it mean A, more for less? Does it mean B, more for you? Or does it mean C, stay away from the middle aisle? That's your lingo test this morning. Let's go to weather and see what's happening. Yeah, drizzly in Coimbra. Okay, I'm going to try and get the weather again so we can see if this is going to clear up or if it's going to stick around. From my cursory glance, this is the last day of rain, not ever, but in this little batch of drizzliness. Pressing the button now to share the screen with you. We're good. There we go. Here's the Good Morning Portugal weather page. Go to goodmorningportugal.com. Where, as I said before, if you want to buy me a cup of coffee, the link's there. coffee.com/Carl Munson, a new funding model. I say new, there hasn't been a funding model for the Good Morning Portugal live stream. But if you want to buy me a cup of coffee, this is, I think, a very modern way of supporting projects that you like. I'm assuming that you like this project. I'm being a bit presumptuous there. But if you want to buy me a cup of coffee, if you want to test the technology, go to coffee, that's ko-fi.com/Carl Munson, and you can click through to that from the goodmorningportugal.com page. Weather in Lisbon, 23 degrees to look forward to on Saturday. But look at that. The temperature is spiking for us on Sunday all over the country. It's 31, albeit cloudy. As we scroll down here, you'll see it's a cloudy outlook for the weekend, but not rainy at least. You see where we are close to us here in Korea, up north in Aveiro. It's currently raining, as it is in Porto, but the weather and the temperature certainly spiking on Sunday. 28 degrees to look forward to. Very comfortable. 33 degrees in Beja on Sunday. See, so like I said, I think the rain is clearing up. I can feel it in my seaweed. This is the last day of drizzle. Be cloudy tomorrow and then get warmer. Look at the difference there. Braga, 20 degrees tomorrow, 29 on Sunday. And let's scroll further down. Let's see what's happening in Coimbra. Yeah, 31 on Sunday, 24 tomorrow. Evra, I think, Neil, you're in Evra, aren't you? 31 degrees. And thank you for your very kind words, your review of Good Morning Portugal on the page there on Facebook. Very kind. 31 degrees on Sunday, 26 tomorrow. Faro, 24. Isn't that weird? Where you would expect the warmest of weather, it's only going to be a paltry 24 degrees. Still not so bad, is it? Guarda, 24 degrees also. Leiria, 30 degrees on Sunday. So Sunday is the best day to look forward to get out in your garden. And let's have a look at Santarém. Yeah, 32 degrees in Santarém on Sunday. Okay, so back to a few more of your comments. Looking nice for Saturday and then even better on Sunday. Beautiful in Olhão. A lovely, warm, sunny day, a lovely, warm morning and sunny day, making a vibrant, very happy mood. Absolutely, Diane. It makes all the difference to us, doesn't it? Us human animals. The sun will break through. Owen using the power of positive thought and intention and assertion and affirmation there to make sure we have some sun finally. A little bit overdue. We do need the weather. We do need the rain. But we could so do with some sun as well. Okay, let's talk mushrooms now. And I want to talk to you. Oh, yeah, not having many answers here. Is it for our lingo? It's very important we learn the language. I'm doing my practice Portuguese online lessons. We slipped behind yesterday, got to be honest, with 8-year-old Digby. I said, do you want to do some Portuguese? He said no. And so I went with that. But we'll be back on it today on the Practice Portuguese platform. But look, a simple one for you today. Does mais para si? You'll be familiar with this receipt. I'm sure everyone's got one of these lurking about their person or purse or wallet or whatever, bags for life. Mais para si, does it mean A, more for less? Does it mean B, more for you? Or does it mean stay away from the middle aisle? Thank you, Druba. Look at you. Look at you. I'm aiming this far too low, aren't I? Well done, everybody. We seem to be getting the right answers there. Should I make it more difficult or shall I keep it on that level of everyday phrases? Excuse me. It's a safe cough. Shall I make it more difficult? But I really quite like picking up these everyday bits of Portuguese and using it as a way of learning. It's a lot easier, isn't it, than serious conjugation of verbs. Anyway, although we have to do that from time to time. Got to get down and dirty with your verbs every now and then. All right, so Shimajito, mushroom farms. Let's have a look. Over in Fundão, we have the wonderful people I've started talking to called Shimajito. I really like the cut of their jib. And for the purposes of transparency, thinking of working on some sort of partnership with them because I really like their style. Act local, solve global, feed sustainable. Your sustainable organic urban mushroom farm. You invest in social impact and sustainability. We do the rest, they say. Produce 6 tons of mushrooms a year. What are mushrooms in Portuguese? Cogumelos, everybody. And if you like mushrooms, this is going to be a dream for you. If you don't like mushrooms, this is going to be an absolute nightmare. And you will have probably turned off already. But 6 tons of mushrooms per year, a plot of 70 square meters. You can create 2 jobs from this. Their way of doing this, which is, to me, is like the next agricultural revolution. Moving away from, like I was saying, we're not going back to normal. We're going back to nature. And I think we need to do that with farming as well. We need to get away from monoculture, from these vast fields of agriculture, and go local and do it on a small scale. Turn 30 tons of waste into organic food per year with this system. Save nearly 1,600 litres of water per kilogram produced. Yes, because agriculture is so intensive, isn't it, on water? No waste, all sales, they say. Estimated monthly passive income up to €800. Now you're talking. That's a bit more substantial than buying me a coffee on coffee.com. Act local, solve global. Now, what I want to do is pause this video and just talk you through it. And let's make sense of it together. And let's hear what your questions are about mushrooms. Do you like mushrooms? Is the first thing. I love them. Absolutely. I love seeing a shiitake mushroom in the supermarket. But I think there are all kinds of mushrooms you can grow with this particular system. So it's a livelihood as well as a way of growing great food. But I think their emphasis is on, grow the food first and then sell your surplus. And that's what we saw with Chris Paradox on Monday, wasn't it? Is they're helping the farmers with tree planting and forest gardening in Senegal. First thing is to grow food for yourself. Second thing is to grow a surplus that you can take to market. And I think that's a good model for us here in Portugal, let alone Senegal. So there you go. You book it in with them and they come and talk to you or talk to you on the phone. This makes them look like a massive corporation. The people I'm going to be speaking to are Michelle and Adrielle. I know they've got a couple of other team members, but it's a small company at the moment. And IoT, anyone know what that means? Yes, Internet of Things. So I'm guessing they're using the latest in technology to connect the growing technology with the internet. So things like when to give nutrition and when to give water, hydration to your crop with the latest sort of techie stuff. So if you're a bit geeky and nerdy, it's going to be a joy for you to get your hands in the soil, but also to practice your sort of programming skills almost. But I'm sure they help you with all this. Farms with floor waterproofing, a proprietary antifungal, antibacterial protection, and IoT sensors. Yes, that'll be for the food and watering, won't it? And the temperature and humidity. It's gone. And look, is that Adrielle with the receding hairline? I think he's got more hair than that. A proprietary substrate. Now, they talked to me about if we're going to do it here in Korea, what local substrate could we use? Coffee grounds, the waste products from timber yards. That's what they go with. They go with a local substrate. 10,000 population they're looking for within a radius of 5 kilometers. So if you're out in the middle of nowhere, this is going to be a little bit more challenging, but you might only just want to grow mushrooms for yourself. Not sure what's happening there. There are people chasing that man away from his greenhouse. Is that the local authorities? I don't know. Farms capacity varies according to size. Smaller farms up to 500 kilograms per month of mushrooms. That is a lot of mushrooms. 70 square meters. Larger farms of up to 1,000 kilograms per month of mushrooms as well. And you only need an area of 70 square meters, they tell me. So quality of mushrooms. There's that greenhouse again. Process and technology. Light bulb moment for that young man there. Shimajito substrate. Yeah, this is the thing they help you to, they supply. And I think that you begin to make from local waste products. And then look, you get a tower of mushrooms like that. Circular system and automation. Yes, a closed loop system. That's what you want, isn't it? Less waste, less inputs coming from elsewhere. Keep it local, keep it simple. Distribute and sell mushrooms yourself. And this is part of their technology as well. They connect you up with a local supply chain. So when we live in the capital of Suckling Pig here, we could be supplying mushrooms to the vegan challenge to Leitao here. Not that I've got any problem with that. I mean, it's a very important thing here locally, but a bit of vegan and vegetarian balance would be pretty awesome. And supplying mushrooms locally. So book your mushroom farm consult. If you want to speak to them, they're very approachable. I think this is perhaps looks a little bit over corporate, but shimajito.com if you want to know more. And we will have them in person on the Fungi Friday. Hoping to talk to Adrielle and to Michelle next Friday. Chantel, you're absolutely right. Mais para si does mean more for you. Who else got that right? Owen was going to type in keep away from the middle aisle. He knows to keep away from the middle aisle. How many park life tools can a man have? More for you. Correct. Gary, correct. Julie. Food co-ops are the way forward. Not this place. Is that what you're saying? Or is that a response to the mushrooms? I think you're right. by the way. Food co-ops are the way forward, Owen. And mushrooms with everything, says Julie Marsh. So I think it's going to be great to have Adriel on. Just talking generally about mushrooms, and obviously if you want to dive deeper into the Shimajito system, fair enough. We ordered 2 sets of mushroom plugs from eBay yesterday to grow shiitake and chestnut mushrooms. Has anyone else used mushroom plugs? The ones you put into logs. Ooh, matron. How cheeky is she? But this is just us personally, not for selling, adds Louisa. So there are some mushroom fans there. I don't know how successful you've been with growing mushrooms. It's a complete occult mystery to me, and I'm looking forward to finding out more and learning how to do it successfully. So well done, you guys, on the Mais para Si. Don't forget, if you want to buy me a cup of coffee, the way to do that, I mean, I'd be grateful for you just testing the system to see if it works. HTTP, you don't need all that, do you? All the W's, coffee.com, ko-fi.com, coffee.com/Carl Munson. We're experimenting with how we might fund this whole thing. And as I say, parting note here, wishing you a bon fin de semana, a good weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. Just saying, the final point really is the future trajectory of the Good Morning Portugal live stream is not to go back to normal. This is what we've been talking about for the last few weeks. To me, it would be folly to go back to normal. What's more important at the moment, for all sorts of reasons, is to go back to nature. And that's what we're going to be about as a group of happy homesteaders here on the Good Morning Portugal live stream. Last word from the missus, of course. I also tried one of those YouTube hack videos. I liquidized 2 mushrooms in water and poured the water over my husband's head. No, poured the water over some substrate. Ha, ha, ha. It's a standing joke in our house. I want to do videos of video hacks to show you what actually happens. They're so beautiful, aren't they, when they create them on YouTube? And when you make it at home, it just doesn't look like that. It's like doing Blue Peter all over again when you're a kid and facing that disappointment as an adult. Anyway, bon fin de semana, te logo, and have a great weekend. Have a super Sunday when I believe the sun will be out. Thank you, guys, for being here this morning. Take care and bye for now.